Our new topic for this term is a geography topic, and geography means learning about places and the people that live in them. And our TLP for today is Can I Name the 7 Continents? Now the picture there is a picture of our planet, the Earth. You sometimes see a model of the Earth, which is called a globe, which has all the different countries shown in different colours. Or you might see a map of the Earth, and to make the map they actually have to sort of flatten it out. It's like someone has squashed the sphere and flattened it out a bit. And on this map you can see our country right at the top there. It's very, very tiny compared to the other countries. Now today we're going to find out the names of the big blocks of land, and they're called the continents. And there are 7 continents all together. So I'm going to use the arrow to show you the names of the different continents, and we'll start with the one that we live in. So we live in Europe. All this blue here is Europe, and our country, United Kingdom, is part of the continent of Europe. And across the ocean here we've got North America, and then underneath we have South America. And this great big red continent here is one we're going to be learning about this term, and that's called Africa. Because the most important thing we're going to learn about Africa is it's not a country. Now some grown-ups even get that a bit muddled up. It's a continent, not a country. There are lots and lots and lots of different countries in Africa. Africa is just the name of the continent. And up here we have Asia, and then down the bottom Australia. Now this one's a bit tricky because if you look at different maps they give it different names. Sometimes it's called Australia, sometimes it's called Oceania, sometimes it's called Australasia. But it's basically the country of Australia, the country of New Zealand, and a few other island nations around the outside. So you can see it's called 3 different things, which can be a bit confusing. And then right down the bottom where it's freezing cold we've got Antarctica. Now also on this map we've got some of the oceans. So we've got the Pacific Ocean, and the reason it says Pacific Ocean twice is because remember this is a squashed map of the world because the map is a sphere. So the Pacific Ocean would wrap round all around the other side of the world. We have the Indian Ocean, and that's India up there. We've got the Southern Ocean right down by Antarctica, the Atlantic Ocean, which goes all the way up to our country. It's between our country and North America. So if you wanted to go to North America, you'd have to fly across or sail across the Atlantic Ocean. And then right up the top where it's really cold is the Arctic Ocean. Now the continents in the middle are where it's warmest. That's where the equator is, the line of the equator. If I get a pen, I can draw a wiggly line around the middle. That would be where the equator is. So it's much warmer the nearer you live to the equator because the sun shines closest to the equator. So we are quite a long way from the equator. And that's how it feels like that at the moment because it's quite cold up in our country. The people who are down right near the equator, people in the middle of Africa, in the middle of South America and Australia, is much nearer, so it's much warmer there. So I've blown up a model of the globe, a model of the Earth, for you to have a look at. It took a lot of puff to blow this up. As you can see, it's a sphere, and on this globe all the different countries have been coloured different colours. So you can see how many different countries there are. And I'm spinning the world here, because this is what the world really does, not this fast, but it spins round on its axis. You can see on here there's a line going round the middle, and that's like an imaginary invisible line, but it's called the equator, and it divides the northern hemisphere at the top from the southern hemisphere at the bottom. And if you look at this side of the globe, it's nearly all sea. There's hardly any countries at all there. I keep turning it, see if we can find our country. I might have to lean it in a bit. It's very, very small. It's hard to find. And I'm looking at it backwards as well. It's just there, that little sort of reddy orange country. is our country. And as you can see, that's pretty small compared to all the other countries. If I turn the world upside down, at the top, there's nothing. And that's because the North Pole is made of ice. There's not any land underneath it. The South Pole, though, although it's all white to show it's snowy, it has actually got land underneath it. Now we're going to be learning about how the land on the Earth is divided into 7 continents. So we've decided, the people who live on the Earth, to name the big land masses as 7 continents. So this is another way of looking at the Earth, and this is actually made up of photographs. It's from an app called Google Earth, and I'll put the link in the description. And it's actually made up of photographs of the Earth taken from space. So if you were up in a spaceship, or if you were standing on the moon and you were looking back at the Earth, this is what you'd see. So the white are clouds, or sometimes it's snow, but when it's over an ocean like that, I think it's clouds. And the green is the land, the blue is the sea. And if you look, some of the land, especially this one here, isn't that green. The top of it is quite yellow and brown, so that often means that there's deserts, that it's somewhere really hot and dry. And I'm trying to sort of spin it around on the equator, so around the middle of the Earth. Now if we wanted to find our country, remember it was quite small, we're going to have to zoom in quite a bit. So I'm zooming in, and if you look, the names start appearing. So there it says the United Kingdom, and that is our country. Now if we needed to find where we are, one clue we've got is that we're near the sea. So we know we're not right down in the middle, and we're actually down the bottom. You might have seen, oh, Brighton has already come up. So I'm going to zoom in closer and closer and closer. Now, even if it didn't have any labels on, you might be able to guess by now that that's Brighton, because you can see there's the pier sticking out into the sea, and we're right at the bottom of the United Kingdom, Brighton. We're sort of opposite France, so we're right at the bottom. Now, if we zoom in even closer, you might start to recognise some things. Let's go up here and see if there's anything we recognise. You might recognise that place, that's the level. And so if we want to try and find the school from the level, so if we're going to try and find the school, we need to go up the Lewis Road. Now you can actually make this look a bit more 3D, and then it is really amazing. You feel like you're flying. Oh, I think we might recognise that building down there. That's St Martin's Church. This reminds me of that film, The Snowman, where he's flying through the air. And I can see Fairlight School over here. I can see Hartington Road. I'm going to go up Hartington Road. And there is the entrance to our school. And if we fly over the top of the school, there's the top of the Year 2 classroom, and you can see the football pitch and the playground at the bottom. As you can see, it's very easy to get distracted on Google Earth. So your task is to write down the names of the 7 continents. But more important than that, I'm going to give you the link to the continent song, and I want you to learn the song. So I'm going to show you some actions, and I want you to see if you can learn the song off by heart, because it's a really good way to find out the names of all the continents. I'll also put in a link to this continents game where it gives you the name of the continent, and then you have to click on it and see how many you can get right. So these are the actions to go with the song. We're going to make an A for Asia, then we're going to make a hot sign for Africa, then we're going to point up for North and down for South America, and then Antarctica, it's really cold, Europe, because that's where we are, and then finally Australia, and that's meant to be a kangaroo. So it's Asia, Africa, North and South America, Antarctica, Europe, and finally Australia. So I want you to have a go at learning that song with the actions. Watch the clip on YouTube and then maybe some of you could show me later on Zoom what you've learnt. Bye.